let's go ahead and get this meeting going here. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Engineering Equipment Committee of the Vallecitos Water District for Monday, January 27th, 2025 at 3 p.m. Do we have anybody remote? Please?
We do.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll dispense with reading the notice to the public. No public comment, I take it. No public comment. So let's get on with the agenda. Number one, fiscal year 2024-25 capital improvement program Q2 update.
And this is per board policy. So what we do is we do a quarterly update on our capital project. As the committee members know that we have a fairly robust and active capital improvement program, and that represents a large portion of our funding, or sorry, of our budget. So therefore, we come every quarter to the board, and once a year to the board, and every quarter to the engineering committee to get an update. With that, I'll hand it over to Ryan.
Yeah, this is for information only, but it's a really good opportunity for you to see how we present things on our website and keep the public informed, very transparent, I'd say more than most agencies. So yeah, Ryan's gonna run through it.
I'm happy to have capital here at the committee today. We have full house here in support of the fiscal year Q2 update for fiscal year 24-25. And I just wanted to make you aware that our capital quarterly updates are located online, and they can be navigated at any time. If you go to engineering, come down to capital facilities and go to active CIP projects. It'll bring up a little interactive map which shows you thumbnails around the district where our active construction projects are located, or design. It doesn't differentiate between design and construction. And for instance, if you click on one of the thumbtacks, it'll bring up a little preview of an update, and then if you click on the link below that update, it'll actually bring up the entire PDF page that provides you with the full update. So these get updated and posted online every quarter. This just happened at the end of December or beginning January when we posted these online. So these are updated. Depending whether the project is in construction or design, we'll have different metrics. So basically we're either reporting on the status of the design contract, PSA, or the construction agreement, depending on where the project is. And just so you know, if you don't want to look at the map, you can click on this link right here, and it'll just take you to a list format. The same information is all located right here in all of our projects. And with that, I'm going to go back. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and get us back into PowerPoint.
We can move that up too.
So,
Yeah.
and just to
Trying to make it small. Can we do it?
oh,
Oh. No, you're good. You're still sharing.
sorry.
You hit that
Just
little.
move this over.
No, you hit the little.
Oh, here.
Yep.
Got it.
And you kind of move it as far over in the corner as you want.
Okay.
There, we're good.
Put it over. All right.
We're
Sorry.
good.
This list right here provides you some good information. Just recently, Capital has been in construction of over $50 million of contract work, and that's a lot for Vallecitos. Historically speaking, we are in the midst right now, Q2, we just closed out almost $15 million of contract work, construction contract work in the fail-safe rehabilitation Buena Reach, which I'll talk about later, the emergency bypass rehab project, Richland 1 and Coronado Hills tank refurbishment projects, and the Las Posas water line. Those are moving on behind us once we get past February 5th for fail-safe Buena Reach acceptance. And then we're left with basically $40 million still in the contract with some of the bigger projects that we have in the district ongoing, including the Metal Arc CCT expansion and conversion to sodium hypochlorite, as well as Tres Amigos water line replacement, and then the Montiel lift station replacement, which is about to mobilize in March. So everything is moving forward at a good rate. And I'm going to turn it over now to our newest capital facilities engineer, Marissa Padilla. She's project managing the Tres Amigos waterline replacement phase 1, and she'll be able to provide you that update right now.
Thanks, Ryan. The Tres Amigos waterline replacement project is underway, and once completed, we'll have replaced 7,800 linear feet of thin-walled steel pipeline originally installed in the 1950s and 60s. District staff has responded to 41 main breaks along the pipeline over the last 20 years, with 20 of these incidents occurring in the last 5 years. Each break results in service interruptions to our customers and puts a strain on our construction staff's resources. As a result, the project has been eagerly anticipated by board members, district staff, and our customers alike. So in that bottom image, you can see kind of the contrast between the newly installed blue C900 PVC pressure pipe and the original steel pipe. What you see there are the roots that indentations in the tar coating that show some of the conditions that may have led to the frequent breaks in the area. The notice to proceed for the construction contract with Tri-Code General Engineering was issued on December 9th, 2024, and is on track to be completed this summer. The construction began along the northern limits of the project, and the contractor is working south. We are working to transition customers off of the most vulnerable section of the pipeline, which is along the northern section, as quickly as possible. And we're coordinating with the contractor to tie in the new water line north of Gopher Canyon Road, right there in the middle, prior to proceeding with construction of the southern segment. So the idea is to kind of try to alleviate the problem as soon as possible for the customers who are continuing to be inconvenienced by the breaks. So on the next slide. So here's some current progress of the construction. You can see excavation of the trenches and then even laying some of that pipeline. Here you see one of the 90s. The project is also relocating the pipe out of some easements on private property into roadways so that it's more accessible, and in the event of a break, which hopefully with the new material that would be a long way off, it would be easier, more accessible for our crews. To date, the contractor has installed approximately 1,500 linear feet of pipe, and environmental and cultural monitors have also been present to assist the district in ensuring compliance with our mitigation requirements. Thank you.
And for the next update, we're going to shift gears a little bit and talk about a project that's currently in bid phase and it'll soon be in construction phase. And the Capital Facilities Assistant Engineer, Allison Fisher, is going to give us the update on the Rock Springs Valve Replacement Project.
Thank you. For the Rock Springs Valve Replacement Project, 3 inoperable valves must be removed and replaced that were installed in 1956 and 1957. 3 new blow-offs and cathodic protection will also be included. The project is located at the intersection of Rock Springs Road and Bennett Avenue inside that black square there. It's also in the county of San Diego on the border. The blue line that you see is a 14 to 18 inch CNLC water line, also known as the Carlsbad line. It's a transmission main that distributes treated water from the Vallecitos 11 connection through the district. If there's a line break on this 18-inch transmission main or isolation is needed in this area, 165 residences will be out of water service. And thankfully, only 1 line break occurred in 2005. By replacing the valve cluster, this project will allow proper isolation and control of the water system. It will also reduce the number of customers affected during future pipeline failures or shutdowns. The district performed a test shutdown on January 7th to determine if isolation is possible for this project. And from this shutdown, we learned that 3 additional valves need replacement. In credit to our construction crew, they offered to replace the valves starting on February 5th. In this lower left-hand corner, you'll see that the red valves are the ones that construction is going to be replacing ahead of the project, and the 3 green valves at the cross are going to be replaced with the project. Okay, next slide. Thank you. The picture in the upper left-hand corner is our construction crew turning valves for that test shutdown on January 7th, and the picture in the upper right-hand corner is the pre-bid meeting on January 14th, where 11 general contractors were in attendance. Other upcoming dates, the bid opening is scheduled for February 11th. And the project will occur this summer when it's the least impactful to the Woodland Park Middle School. On one night, there will be an 8 to 12-hour water shutdown when the valve cluster is switched out, and affected residents will be properly notified. This item is for informational purposes only, and we anticipate coming back to the board for construction award on March 5th. We're happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Is it pretty typical to get 11 general contractors to bid? That seems
I
like.
was surprised on a job this small that
Yeah,
we'd
right.
have that good a response.
It doesn't mean they're gonna bid though.
No,
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
sure.
part of that is our construction inspection supervisor, Ricardo Cervantes, reached out to a number of local firms that we've been working with to
No,
try to
good.
sort of drum up a response, and not just for this, but in general, to let them know that, hey, we're open for business and
Good.
we'd like you to come
Yeah,
take a look
good.
at it. So,
I have a question on the previous slide, when we were talking about the additional valves that are going to be replaced. What, I didn't quite understand what you said about how the construction staff would offer to replace those, so that's separate from this project? Okay,
Oh, so during the shutdown, they have to close the valves that surround the project area to see if we can get a shutdown, and they've realized that those valves do not close, so they're gonna replace those. And they're smaller valves, a little bit easier for them to.
okay, and that's still part of our budget at Vallecitos, but it's not part of capital improvement, do I understand that?
Yeah,
correctly?
operations has their
Okay.
own valve replacement
Okay.
program, so we target areas and once something like this is identified to help minimize impact area, then they'll go and do that work and use that particular budget. for it.
Okay, I see, thank you.
And that completes item number 1 on the agenda.
Okay.
And I'm gonna keep going if you guys are ready.
That's another question.
Okay.
On the Trace Amigos line, you said there's 40 or 41 brakes.
Oh, yeah.
In the
Does
last-
each one of those have a repair clamp on it?
Some
Some
almost
of them,
continuous
but
stream.
not all of
So,
them.
yeah,
Not all of them.
not all of 'em. So it's basically really old tar wrap steel.
Right.
It's
Thin wall,
thin wall. It's not even water pipe. It's actually original
steam.
steam pipe. Yeah, I think it's steam pipe. So it's not even actually meant, and it's part of the history of that pipe is when Vallecitos was formed, it was gifted to Vallecitos by Vallecitos by
The gift that
original
keeps on giving.
Yeah, and at one point, we had 14 breaks in 14 months on that pipe, so, but it's also created property damage, on a couple of the breaks, but our construction crews, well, first off, I don't think there's a welder, except for one that can even weld on that pipe.
He won't do it.
They
You won't do it?
were-
Okay,
They were doing it originally, they were having some success, but it was
Yeah.
hit and miss and it was causing problems, so there
Yeah,
are
it was
some butt
extending.
straps in there and, you
and
know.
so now we just put repair clamps on
Yeah.
there, and that's been the practice for at least the last 3, 4, maybe 5 years. So there's a lot of repair clamps, yes.
Yeah.
Temporary
We
repair
ever
clamps.
talk about recycling those and trying to reuse them.
Yeah, we paid more for the labor than the work,
Yeah.
so,
I'm trying to picture where exactly this is, zooming out where.
yeah. It's basically the northern part, the Gopher Canyon Road. Can you point out Gopher Canyon Road?
It's right through here.
Yeah, so East Vista Way, there's
Oh.
a strawberry farm, there's actually I think a little fruit stand there, as
Yeah.
you're going past like Bringle Terrace, if you go up north of Bringle Terrace, if you know that part of Vista.
So it's
or-
like the northeast.
It's extreme north of the
Yeah.
it's the very
Okay.
north
If you
end.
keep on going,
This
you hit the
irrigation is
76.
over here.
Oh, got it.
So, yeah, where you go through
Yeah.
Vista, you hit the 76.
Yeah.
And then you go to Fallbrook that way.
We border,
15 going to
Yeah.
Virginia.
yeah, we border Vista Irrigation right over here, and then Rainbow is over to the north.
Yep.
So very northern limits. Mhm,
Up in northern Vista Hills.
mhm. Okay, no other questions on that?
Okay, we'll go to item 2 then. Project acceptance for the Metal Arc fail-safe rehabilitation project with Winter Beach.
So this item was already presented at the finance committee meeting last week, and it is informational. However, we are trying to gain support from committee before it comes to the board on February 5th for project acceptance. And just to give you a reminder, and Director Kirschbaum, I know you weren't here last year, but the Metal Arc Failsafe Buena Reach Rehabilitation Project is part of our fail-safe system. The fail-safe outfall conveys secondary or tertiary treated water from the treatment plant at Metal Arc all the way to the ocean outfall via Encina. So it doesn't get treated at Encina, it kind of bypasses treatment, It goes right into the ocean outfall. So this pipeline had experienced at least 3 breaks in the recent past, 2018, 2020, and 2020, again at the 3 triangle locations shown on the figure. This project is 100% in the Buena Reach territory, I guess you could say, between Yarrow Drive and Aviara Parkway. By agreement, Buena Sanitation District, City of Vista shares 50% ownership of all maintenance activities or improvement activities that are required on the failsafe through this reach. It was last seen by the board in August of 2023, where we awarded the construction contract to Felance, and that was $6.65 million. And the associated time of completion that was with that contract, it was to be complete as of July 1st, 2024. The project also included construction phase inspection, construction management inspection services that was provided by Riley CM. That had the same, we scoped that service to end on July 1st, 2024. So the project was slow going. The only portions of replacement where we actually took out ductile iron pipe or we abandoned it in the ground and we replaced it with HDPE pipe are represented by these red segments. The light green segments are CIPP rehabilitation. The contractor and the contractor's team, subconsultant, had a really hard time with installing the CIPP liners. There were some unforeseens that weren't accounted for in our as-builts and our profiles. We had some pipe sags and bellies, which made it difficult to dewater and do pre-inspections, and some additional cleaning on lines. And additionally, for the new replacement work, there was elevated groundwater conditions, approximately 10 feet higher than what the geotechnical report had stated. So there was a significant increase. It was two very wet winters the last 2 years, and we kind of attributed that to the raise in groundwater elevation, and that really attributed to a large part of the delay. Construction actually completed in November, I'm sorry, 2024, that's a typo, just this past November. And the good news is failsafe is currently operable. It is facilitating the ongoing work at the CCT expansion and conversion of sodium hypochlorite projects at Meadowlark. So the good news is we were able to achieve our objectives, and it's currently in operation. However, those delays and additional services or extras relating to those delays and extras are kind of summed up here. The first 3 change orders are really non-impactful. First day of construction, we realized we had to realign, or we worked with the City of Vista to realign our failsafe on Palomar Oaks Way to accommodate a future CIP of theirs. That incurred some additional cost, and there was rain days to be awarded, which extended the contract time of completion into August. And then the second 2 change orders were actually deductive credits, and one of them was for a liner substitution. When we realized that the sub was struggling and really just burning resources, working several 24-hour shifts, night shifts in the city of Carlsbad to get this work done, and at some point, in some cases, they weren't even successful without letting liners spoil, for instance, in that time period. We took initiative to work with the prime consultant, Felance, to do a liner substitution. We took away pressure CIPP liners, and we substituted with this technology called Primus liner. It's a trenchless technology. It doesn't require a cure time, and it has a lot of benefits that aided us, and we were actually able to get almost 3,000 feet of Primus liner installed within a 2-week time period. So that was a good benefit to the project. Change order 3 was also deductive in nature, where we we took out some permanent access points from the contract. We also got allowance monies back from the bid schedule that we realized we weren't going to use for point repairs, for instance. So that takes us down to the big negotiation, which was really ongoing for several months at the end of 2024. Really from October to December of 2024, we were working with Felons to substantiate the groundwater, the difficulties with the CIPP lining, and some of that also included additional surface repairs at the roadway level because we lost the trench and took out more of the road than we anticipated, and we had to provide some soil stabilization at the pipe bedding in the trench. So we have authorized up through change order 4, and that takes us to our 5% construction contingency, which was authorized at contract award. But change order 5 is pending. That's going to come to the board at acceptance for the additional amount beyond that 5%. In total, all the change orders add up to 7.9% of the original contract value. It's that 2.9% that we are asking the board to authorize as part of acceptance. The overall fiscal impact here is shown. The 2 actions that we are going to ask the board for approval on, as I already mentioned, is change order 5, and also the Riley CM amendment number 1 for $192,455. That is to cover the additional CM&I services from July to November. And some of those services were provided, as I mentioned, kind of 24-hour shifts, a lot of night work that happened. City of Carlsbad conditioned us to work nights on Palomar Airport Road due to traffic control considerations, among other things. All said, we have a budget deficit of $440,000, and that amount is split 50-50 with Buena. Again, we have to fund this project in full, and they reimburse us. Good news is I can report we've received $3.3 million in reimbursements to date. We've been billing them quarterly. We will bill them the final $920,000 at project acceptance once we move forward past the February 5th date. And with that, it is informational. We are seeking committee support, and we anticipate bringing this on February 5th.
So for the 440,000, we're basically paying that now to the contractor, but we're gonna get half of that back from Buena Sanitation District after the fact.
Correct.
Okay.
No, a little bit off.
Okay.
The contractor's pending change order is 197, and then another 192 goes to CM.
Right.
The rest of it's staff time, because staff spent more time on this project also. So the total budget deficit is 440.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what the board will see, and what we're kind of asking committee is support of basically increasing the budget by 440 and support of change order number 5, which is above our contingency amount. And the contingency is set by board policy. So a small job has a 10% contingency. And then as you get higher in value, the contingency percentage goes down.
Okay.
Okay, well, I certainly support it. It's a complicated, difficult project. Lots of change conditions.
And Director Elfart got to hear the presentation twice.
Yeah.
I can't not support it. It's the other thing.
Well, I think you heard the justification again now, but yeah, nothing's
Leave
changed.
it to my fellow
Yes,
community.
I definitely support it as well. Thank you for the thorough explanation.
Yeah, and I'll be doing it again at the board meeting.
Hear it again.
It's here one more time. So that's really it. I just wanted to hit on this real quick. We have over $80 million in design. I'm not going to get too detailed. That kind of goes along with the quarterly update. 2 very large projects in design. And then if there are any other questions, we can take Jason's favorite picture. We can take those now.
There's a couple of good looking directors there. Let's see, 1, 2, oh, no, he's gone.
Jason, your heart hat's a little quick.
Right.
I went through that manway and I think it knocked my hard hat and forgot how to
Nobody
wear it.
helped you. But you know, that was-
Right.
This is inside Court on the Hills.
This is a designer on the land outfall.
Land outfall designer is Dudek.
Okay,
Yeah, Dudek.
I've heard that name before.
Cape Palm.
Kate Palmer is our PM over there, so, and we work with Russ and the whole gang, so. We're heavy in preliminary design, we just completed about 30 borings. Picking up a lot of hydraulic modeling, verification, evaluation. So we are doing a lot on that project right now.
And that project's got a long shelf life because we have multiple agreements that we talked about with 2 other agencies. There's a portion that's just ours, but there's a western portion that's gonna take a long time, so right now we're doing the PDR and the hydraulics for the whole thing.
Correct.
And then when we get into construction, we're gonna divide it up because of different ownership capacity rates.
And that completes item number 2.
Great, thank you.
Okay, item 3,
All right.
roof replacement. for
You guys gonna stay or?
We'll say.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have this
You
over
gonna
to
log
Jason.
on? He said he sent it to you, so.
Jim's gonna queue it up and then
Yep.
slide it over to you to advance the slides. Are you good with that?
Never done it before, but yeah.
Okay.
Push the
You
button.
got this.
So all you gotta do is push the button.
So
Push
one of
the
the things, a little anecdotal story is, so since I've been in this building for about 20 years, a little shy of 20 years, maybe about 10 years ago, when I was down in engineering, I noticed that the inspection supervisor came and said, hey, we have water running down the walls, getting our computer and equipment. And-
Wow.
And so I looked at it and I said, my gosh, you can have water running down the walls. And then next thing I know, I move upstairs, my office leaks and I have buckets down in my office. So needless to say, a roof repair, we've been kind of patching the roof repair for a while and the district went ahead and funded, went through the budget process this fiscal year, when we're last fiscal, when we're applying for this fiscal year to fund it, and now it's kind of come to fruition.
Yep, yeah, so last fiscal year was added to the budget through board adoption, and we've gone through the design phase, bid phase, and now we're ready to bring it to board February 19th for award of the contractor. So we're looking for support from the committee to bring it forward, and I won't steal any of Steve's thunder, but
Dun, dun, dun.
he will go through, give you a history and kind of walk you through how we got here.
Yep. All right.
Yeah,
Just the-
yeah.
Boom. All right, agenda, building history, built 1997, we all know that, just getting old. We'll go over the previous and current roof leaks, project process, and the next steps. So yep, designed in 95, built in 97. We have just plywood, normal, we got felt. I think it was a 30-pound felt that is no longer there. 15 to 30 year lifespan. We are right at that 27, 28 years. So we're doing pretty good there. Concrete tiles are still doing good. We have a bunch of cracked ones that might stay, might go, depending on which option we end up going with. Picture is just a little bit of the fascia or gutter. It's like a built-in gutter fascia that is pulling apart from the building. That's part of the scope right there. They're not sure how far back it goes. Nobody wanted to pull a piece off to look back in there, so might have some soffit repair and stuff. 2014, we had, I forget how much it was. There was a PR made for repairs. This is way before my time over here. To repair a bunch of that. It was already separating and they went through and zipped it all back up, but it is falling apart again. 2017, James, is that the one you were talking about? Or were you talking about Ricardo's? Okay.
Over Ricardo, it was both 2017 and it happened again in 2020.
And it is now leaking again. Ryan's
Yeah.
seen it coming down his wall, so it is leaking again right there.
From this weekend storm.
No, it was the
It's last year. I forgot to
2020
check
again.
on this one.
atmospheric rivers that came in and just wiped us out. We repaired 3 sections of the finance wing. That ended up being so big that we did a 30 by 40 area because they couldn't find anywhere good to tie into. And it is now leaking there again. That's when they recommended to me to replace the whole roof and quit patching because they weren't sure if their patches were even gonna hold. So right here, when you walk into the engineering department from the lobby, That's the wall right outside the lobby doors. Completely falling apart. It gets saturated every time we have a leak. In fact, this morning there was a puddle on the ground. So we had our janitor go over there and clean it up, dry it up, put up a slippery sign. Opening those doors, you walk in, and that's how far it flooded during one of the atmospheric rivers before we found out that there was a leak. It almost flooded the whole hallway. So we got in there with some shop vacs during working hours in front of customers and dried it up. The CFO, so Wes's wall is the same. It just gets a weeping. It's supposed to come up with a picture. There we go. Just weeps down, floods a little bit in the corner, so we have to go in there and dry that up after a nice rain. Can't repair any of this until we get the roof done. There's no point. It does it every time. Customer service, we have a light out, and we're not sure if the light is out due to the rain, but it actually drips from the light fixture. So we haven't repaired that light.
It happens in the AGM office too.
Yeah.
Comes with it.
So
You didn't tell me that.
It's right. in the-
I told you you didn't want to move into that office. You should have stayed downstairs for a while. AGM's office, yep, leaks. And then Jen's old office, Mike Arthur's soon-to-be office, also has 3 leaks. So we put out 3 orange buckets so you don't trip over the buckets. Yeah, so we've had some problems with leaks lately, and that's been a lot of the last 2 years. They've been slow, like little weeps coming down the walls a little bit and trying to get this going, but last year really hit us hard.
Well, add to the history, we did some roof replacement to our building B building back in 2018.
It was all
And it
the
was,
flat
and it was
roofs.
all the flat roof area. We did touch the tiled section, the pitched area.
Yep.
And that was due to a lot of leaks that were occurring in that building.
So it's building B, C, D,
Oh, that's right.
and maybe even E. I don't remember if E
Yeah.
was on there, or
All
not, but
the flat
all
roofs.
the flat roofs got new.
Building A is just as general admin, building B is operations, and
Okay,
then after that, you get the shops and the mechanics and the warehouse. We just call them by different numbers.
They're more industrial buildings, big old blocks. So this started in 2023. We had our first architect send us these CDs that you can see on the right. This was my second CIP, so I wasn't sure what they were supposed to look like. After asking a few people around here if these are biddable documents, they said no, so we sent it to another architect that we use, MBN, just to get, what would you call that? Have somebody else look at your work.
Second opinion?
There you go. Getting a second opinion on it, and he said he wouldn't go out to bid with those documents and leave us way too open for change orders.
Yep.
So we finished that 2024. RFP is done. We selected our contractor, went out to bid, selected our contractor. We're expecting to start in March with board approval. And the sequencing is the bottom right picture right there. That's just the general layout. We have 2 different ways that we might go about this. Either reusing the old ceiling tile or the old tiles, not ceiling tiles, the old tiles on the lower sections and putting new tiles on the top. And that would save us buying new tiles. So we were trying to be fiscally responsible. This came back way lower than what we thought. And I believe it's 200 grand more for all new tile. Might be a better way to go, but we'll leave that up to the powers that be. So they'll start on the first floor. If we go with the reusing, we'll start on the second story, which is right above us right here. We'll reuse that tile for all the cracked tile that they end up ruining as they're pulling off the rest of the roof. They'll start on the south side, which would be on the left of the picture, and work their way north. It's just a general overview right there. Forget what Eric was saying they were gonna do. 2,000 square feet a week? No, it's more than that, a day, something like that, depending on weather, 5-man crew, and just section at a time, so if the rain does come, we don't pull the whole roof.
Yeah, that was definitely the strategy, is not to just open the whole thing up and then, we're exposed literally.
Yes.
So there will be.
so
it will be
I have a
seamless.
question, Steve, for you
Yes.
about the concrete tile roofs. Is it part of your maintenance plan to actually clean the concrete tiles, or do they just never get
We have
cleaned?
never cleaned the roofs.
Yeah.
Gutters we clean,
Right.
roofs we have not cleaned ever, that I know about.
Right, it's interesting because I've heard there's this new insurance policy for homeowners. I don't know if it would apply to an agency like us, but I guess insurance companies are wanting homeowners to actually clean their tile roofs because they get mold and lichen that ends up compromising the concrete tile and makes them crack sooner. But this is what a roofing contractor told me at my home, so I don't know if that's actually true or so. It's interesting that you've never heard of that before.
I actually have, but it doesn't apply to our region, because if you live in a more humid area from south, where it's just kind of humid and you get that moisture,
Yeah.
then you'll have lichen that grows on concrete all the time. And but in a dry arid area, it's not supposed to apply, but
Well, what the
different
guy told
insurance-
me is that it's since we live in, we're coastal, right? We're not on the beach, but we're still considered coastal, that we have this kind of more humid air. And I mean, if you look at my concrete tile on my home, you can see there's definitely like black mold and some lichen in some areas. But I don't know, I mean, concrete is supposed to last 100 years, so it's like,
Yep.
it's hard for me to believe that mold would cause the concrete to break.
it shouldn't, it should be still a 50-year plus life.
Yeah, that's what I would think,
Yeah.
so.
One of our old supervisors was actually a roofer before he came over here. And he said it's more from walking on it is what,
Really, okay, yeah.
so you get people up there to work on stuff and then they crack tile and don't say anything.
Right.
So he was
interesting.
like, the less you go up there, the better for the roof.
Yeah,
I would
that makes
agree.
sense.
Yeah.
from
I
personal
also just said,
experience.
why don't we just put some shingles on there? We don't have to worry about any of this. They told me that's dumb. All right, finished June 2025. They said, yeah, 2-3 months, which to me is crazy. It seems like a huge job, but yeah, they're gonna knock it out. For construction PM, MBN Group, he is the one that finished up the drawings for us. Nobody here has time to be a CM on this job, so.
Plus, we don't have the expertise.
Yeah, and we
Yeah.
often bring in, you'll notice, in engineering and operations projects, we'll bring in that designer, or in this case, the architect, to provide some construction case services to help with RFIs and especially inspection and those kind of things.
Oh, is that minutes? That might be minutes. All right, our bid results. So
This is always interesting.
yeah, this one,
Wow.
we actually went back to Preman, however you say their name. We went back to them and asked, are you sure you bid this right? So I met back up with them. He came out, he hopped up on the roof, did some inspection, and said, yep, we bid it right. I think everybody else just bid heavy on it. Said, yep,
Yeah.
we don't want change orders. We don't want.
Yeah, we do our due diligence when we see a big discrepancy and make
Mhm.
sure that that low bidder didn't miss something or,
Yep.
made an error or something.
Maybe the high bidder missed something.
I think he was just looking for a big payday is what he was doing. Yeah.
So when we send a project out to bid like this, do we do like our own internal cost estimate before we get bids? Like, or do we just wait till it's come in and say, this is what it
We have
is?
an engineer's estimate. in most
Oh,
jobs,
okay.
yeah.
So our architect did it. He reached out to some people and he got us the what he thought was gonna be the
Architect's estimate. in
Yeah.
this case.
Yeah.
What
there you
was
go.
his-
So
So
what
what
was
was his estimate?
1.5 million is what he thought.
Wow, so.
Yeah, so originally when this project was approved by
Yeah.
the board, we had a budget of 500,000. Now that was before we had gotten into this design or anything, we had just done some preliminary, but through the design, working with Mim, he then gives us an estimate. So coming back to the board this fiscal year, we asked for a budget increases, which how we got to the 1.7, because we were factoring in that 1.2 estimate.
Yep.
Plus extras and design costs and all that, so.
And the year before too, I actually looked it up because when I first started, I'm like, we need a roof. And I called them out. 290,000 is what Sylvester said they would have done. this
Okay,
for
that's right.
Before COVID.
Yeah, Sylvester was the contractor who had done our last
Yep.
roof project in 2018, the flat area. So we
And then after COVID, they laughed at me. I'm like, we put, I forget what, yeah,
all
500, they
the
were like,
material
"You're not even
increases
close
had,
anymore." I'm like,
had come and none of those
Yep.
increases have come down.
And we are seeing more competitive. You gotta remember the engineer's estimates are always a lagging factor.
Yeah.
So they're going off of bids that came in 6 months, a year before.
Right.
And we are seeing bid prices being a little bit more competitive, more contractors showing up. Just talking with the other GMs, we're seeing some bid prices marginally come down from the height of post-COVID. I don't know if that's trend or that's just a little snapshot, but.
Yeah, and just, we go through a budget process in the spring where we take, estimates and the data we have, but sometimes it's not till sometimes a year later till we're actually bidding the project and getting those actual numbers. So the GM's correct, we're always sort of lagging behind.
Right.
From what we approved for the budget to what we're actually seeing.
But in this case,
So.
it's a positive lag.
Yes.
Yeah, it's.
unless I could have done it at that 290, that would have been nice.
Yeah, you actually didn't have to bring that up. So.
I still feel worried about that. I still feel worried about that 689.
You and me both, it
Okay.
scares me
Yeah.
since.
We got men.
Yeah, it is a little
But
bit.
so they're reputable and they've done lots of jobs like this.
Yep. Nothing but outstanding reviews,
Okay.
we call them, and
You said,
Yeah.
are you sure?
that's what I said, I'm like, this doesn't seem right.
Yeah, and the contract docs are run through our legal, so they're checking for any irregularities.
Yep.
We do a reference check and make sure that, again, they're reputable, and we usually reach out and say, hey, again, is there anything you missed? So,
There's always a chance that the contractor knows something that he feels that he's got an advantage of that he get, but we won't really know until we get it.
yeah,
Right.
we haven't worked for
But
this
right-
with this contractor,
So
so.
right now we have some cushion.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's great.
yep.
We'll take it, right?
All right, so the project budget. So we thought it was gonna be 1.5 for the bid, so we added our time, our costs, and then what we thought, contingency and all that, we are way over right now, so yes, the surplus looks great. So I'm actually happy, I'll be happy. If it
Not
goes
that we
great.
want to chew into that.
Not that we
We're
wanna
looking
touch it,
for-
Wes will be very happy, the
Yes.
finance committee will be very happy if we don't touch that. So yeah, that's our budget, that's what we're hoping to do, we're hoping everything works out. The staff labor and overhead, it shouldn't take that much time out of us having him be in here.
And the big lesson I think we need to take away from this is that this savings more than doubles what engineering was asking for.
Yes, you can apply.
Yeah,
that to
you're
the-
welcome, Ryan.
Oh.
Hey, we got a lot of surplus items too.
Actually, yes, that's true.
Yeah.
This item will be coming to the board 2 weeks
I know,
after.
I know,
his
it's- the
act.
timing's not quite.
So just remember that.
Yeah. We'll
Good, yeah, good sales pitch. All right, Q&A, anybody got?
Yeah, so we are looking for committee support. We want to bring this to the full board on the 19th, second meeting in February. We'll be looking to award the contractor.
Well, I vote we fix the leaking roof.
Yeah, I do too.
You and me.
Do too.
We are trying to prevent, future damage, obviously, hazards to our.
And at the end of the day, when we take the roof off, we're probably gonna find some wood damage, some dry rot, some.
That's what the contingency,
Yeah,
we
we
have
have
put
10%
some in there,
contingency
but
to account for that, so hopefully that.
yeah,
So,
it's good.
yeah, and we anticipate that, just when you've had so many years of leaks, that it's gonna create some type of damage up there that we haven't seen.
Yep.
So.
Okay.
Definitely, so, committee support on bringing this to the board. Okay,
Yes.
Believe so, yeah.
All right,
That's great. Yeah, so that concludes all of our staff items.
All right. So we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay.